Jaffa, if it wasn't occupied and destroyed and killed by Israelis in 1948, in my point of view, it would have been developed into one of the most important multicultural cities all over the Mediterranean.
What's beautiful about this street, it's the first street that had proper urban planning, that the whole vision behind it was to build Yafa as a new modern city. And why do I think this is important? Because usually, especially for Western ears, when they think about Yafa or the Palestinian cities before the Nakba, it's easier for them to go to the old city because of Orientalism. So this is how we are perceived. They want to see the mosques and the churches. But I think this street shows something different. Shows something that we don't speak about enough. The modern city of Yafa. It had our theaters, our banks, our hotel, middle class, upper class, lower class. And it tells the story of the Palestinian city that was taken away from us.
If you read the last master plan of the city that was done in Jaffa's municipality in 1946, 2 years before the war, they were talking about the development of the city for the future. Jaffa would have been now a city of nearly 1 million Palestinians. You would see a very beautiful Mediterranean city, very multicultural.
Each building has a different architectural language. And I think it tells a beautiful story about how diverse the city was. Because usually, because of how media portrays us, they tend to show as if Yafa was only an Eastern city. I think Yafa was much richer. It was both Eastern and Western at the same time. So if you look closely, you'll find old signs of old companies that used to be Jamal Basha Street. You've got White Star over here. But the people who don't know, White Star is the company that owned the Titanic, a transportation company. But right next to it, you'll find another sign under the name Spinners. Now, I didn't know the company until I gave a tour to old British couple. And one of I think it's the husband who noticed that Spinners is the British Army's supermarket. So when we imagine the British mandate, it's not only that the soldiers were here, they brought with them their culture, and it was very important for them to buy food that they might have found back home in Great Britain. So if you look closely, you'll find the sign Spinners just in front of you. What's unique about this location is that every building has a story. For example, this building, this was our old bus station. Again, for someone like me, myself, my grandfather, it was this way he could connect to the Arab world, through the bus station or through JJR local train station. But every other building you can look at this location. For example, this building today is an Israeli theater, but up until 1948, this was Cinema Nabil, whose brother had another theater house called Cinema Irshad. And the building right next to it is the postal building that was built in the Soviet. Standing here, you don't only see history, you see history of a modern city, which makes us imagine and ask the questions, what would have the city looked like if it wasn't for the Palestinian Nakba? And would Yafa be only a marginal neighborhood in Tel Aviv, or would it be one of the most important cities in the Arab world and the Mediterranean, the same way it was before the Palestinian Nakba?
I think that the case of the Palestinians in Jaffa reminds us a little bit of the indigenous population in the United States of America, and a little bit of the black population conditions also in America.
In the 80s, there was a survey done the Palestinian communities in Yafa, and they found that 1 out of 5 men was either drug addict using heroin or alcoholic. Imagine someone like my grandfather who lived in Yafa in the 30s and 40s and traveled to Damascus and Beirut and saw the cultural life in Yafa, now having to live in Yafa once he was forced to become the slums, to become a ghetto. And it was devastating for him.
We live on racial separation, Arabs alone and Jews alone. All the big Jewish cities are 100% Jewish. Holon, Rishon LeZion, Ramat Gan, Givatayim, Rehovot, 100% Jewish. And the Arab areas are 100. Less than 10% we live in what is called mixed cities. Jaffa is the most mixed city in this 10% case.
Every time I walk here and I look at this building behind me, and I think it's just absurd. Because this was our old prison built at the time of the Ottoman Empire. And today it's a fancy hotel, 5-star hotel, named the Satay. And I think it's just absurd how they could take such a beautiful building that has such a rich history to the city. It was built in the 19th century. And how could a building such as this be sold to private investors instead of being preserved, instead of being something for the community? And it tells something. It's not only that they robbed us and they sold the product that they stole from us. Every time I come to the beach, I can't not think about the Palestinian refugees in 1948 when they were forced to be during a Palestinian Nakba, when they were in the sea looking at the old city and how they truly believe that they will come home one day and it will be only a matter of a couple of weeks and they'll come back.
Since 1948, we were considered and dealt with as enemies. So they concentrated us only in one neighborhood named the Ajami neighborhood. Now it's southwest to Jaffa. And they surrounded us with a tile fence and put us under military control. The European Jews that survived the Holocaust, Michelle, taught us a new word that we never heard before. They taught us the word ghetto. We did not know what's a ghetto before the Zionist occupation of Jaffa in 1948. Since then, the city was, and most of the property was stolen by the Israelis. Everything was confiscated. Our parents and our families and our beloved and our neighbors were prevented from returning back to the city. They are spread all over the world as refugees in Lebanon, in Gaza, all over the world. Those who went to Gaza has passed few catastrophes. And they are being now killed by our neighbors. You know, Israel is a state controlled by, police and army in all means. Compared to the number of the population, it has the biggest army in the whole world. And all of the Israeli society are in the security services. You have the police and the Shabak and the Mossad and Mishmar HaGvul, and these security services are very successful in bringing safety to the Jewish population. The majority, that consists 80% of the population, are considered one of the most safe populations in the world. But we, the minority, that we live only on 3% of the land, the Palestinians who live in Israel, our situation is considered one of the most dangerous and unsafe conditions all over the world. We are maybe number 3 or 4 with rates of crimes all over the world. But only the Arabs. The same police gives totally different services for the Jews. Do a small comparison between the Jewish rates in crimes and the Arab rates in crimes. There is nothing to compare. But it is the same police, the same police station, the same people. When we are killed, nobody cares. You know, we are here in this neighborhood. In Israel, if someone is the man is very talented, he becomes a pilot in the Air Force. So if I have talented neighbors, their main work is to kill my people in Gaza. In 1948, tens of thousands of Jafans were expelled to Gaza. When Israel is doing now the war crimes in Gaza, they are killing our families. Every day, Michelle, as a political figure, and my neighbors knows me, the people, they stop me in the street and they start telling me their stories. That yesterday his brother was killed in Gaza, or his nephew was killed in Gaza, someone from his relatives, they lost everything, all their property the people are starving to death, they can't help them. But who is doing this? It's our neighbors. Our neighbors. And Israel calls this coexistence. Imagine their perception of coexistence or their perceptions of peace.